Yo, 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 what's up, YouTube? This is the Peterson cast. You got. Oh, wait, he's back. Never mind. Shh. Don't forget to
dare you.
smash that like and subscribe button. Woo, 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 woo.
Wow, 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 wow. Let's go.
Smash it, smash it, smash it. That's what I'm talking about. When I see that at the beginning of a video, I'm like, I can't watch this.
Oh, I actually have to smash that close button. Can't be here anymore. I don't want anyone to know I'm doing this. Oh,
Graham said you're a real one for wearing sunglasses with me.
it's all about solidarity. He's like, shaving your head, dude.
He says like it's solidarity.
Yeah. Everyone should be wearing sunglasses.
It's
the coolest.
At home at night.
Yeah, dude. Wearing sunglasses is cool. Consider me Miles Davis.
Oh man, you know what would have been cooler? Turn off the lights with some sunglasses on. Oh yeah, looking dope as balls.
What up?
All right, this is the conspiracy cast.
All right, listen up here.
We need to hide our identities.
Conspirates.
I'm not
Oh, that's tight. Okay.
All right. We are actually live, so
I know. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let's just fucking rock this.
All right.
I have to pee, so we have to go fast.
Okay. I mean, you can go now,
no, we're going.
That's
I'm gonna
right.
pee. I have to pee the whole fucking time. 62 minutes.
Well, it's gonna be 64 because we started 2 minutes late.
That's a good point. All right.
Okay.
On this week's episode, Warner Brothers Games is shutting down half their studios, and that's it, I guess.
Looks like there's something about Balatro and maybe Power World. I don't know.
I guess that's it. We'll probably do Dear Game Devs too. I don't know. Just shut up and listen.
Shut up and listen.
You just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
And this is Peterson.
And
it's bright in my house. Like, is the sun in here?
I don't know. I think it was that vampire bat that may have bit me last week.
Full disclosure, I'm hungover.
Just seems
that
really
better?
bright. Everything just seems super bright.
I'm really high.
I don't want you to see my red eyes.
Every option is better than the truth, which is
could be
double
worse.
eye infection.
No,
double
you could have
eye infection.
You could have pink eye. That would be worse. Because that would mean that poo particles got to your eye.
Pink eye or pink eyes? Because
pink eye.
I'm rocking the double
double deuces. You
Two
got double
in the
deuce.
pink.
Oh,
wait.
On that note. Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week, as it is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave.
He was waiting for me to do it mid-words. I waited several seconds after his words.
We've been playing that joke. We run that joke every single episode, and it never fails to get a laugh out of me. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with us. Why we keep losing listeners. No, it's our controversial takes on hot topics.
That's why people can't handle it. You can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the Crave Cookies. It's this cookie shop. If you go to cravecookies.com, you can check out their weekly rotating menu. It changes every Friday, but we dish it out to you on Tuesday, 4 days early. You just have to know. You're a need to know basis. We got a menu coming up. The menu for the monthly cookie for this next month is out.
Need to dough basis.
There it is.
It took a minute.
Oh.
Can we use that somehow?
Can we just start the podcast over? Let's just start from the top. This week's sode. Now we got a carrot cake. That's going to be the monthly. So I'm going to be slinging. I ordered so many shredded carrots today. You guys would not believe.
I thought about that last week. You were like, dude, a horse would love that. Literally the next day, my neighbor had a horse in her front yard, and I went out there to pet it, and I was like, I wish I had a whole bunch of
Where you
carrots
live?
for you.
Horse, front yard, pet? What? the fuck is what is this?
My
You live
neighbor
in a
is
Disney
super
movie.
farmer girl. She got pigs, chickens. She got a horse,
Do you live
dogs
in
all
the
over the place,
suburbs?
cats everywhere.
What the fuck is going
Kind
on?
of. It's like half suburb, half fields. So
Half
anyway,
horse.
yeah.
We've also got the caramel cookie butter bomb.
Wait,
That's got to be our first cookie with the name bomb in it.
caramel cookie butter pie.
Caramel cookie butter bomb.
Like
That sounds like a cool song. The s'more, which is a personal favorite of mine. The Oreo cheesecake. This has cheese, our homemade cheesecake filling stuffed in the middle. It's rolled in butter. It's dunked in Oreo crumbs. And then that sucker is baked and drizzled with something else.
this one is one of the extremely decadent ones.
It's got to be the
Like,
most
you
one of the
can't
most
eat
decadent ones.
You can't eat this by yourself. It's a challenge, I think.
No,
You have to take it, eat it in 30
your skin
seconds.
starts shaking. Like, it's a problem if you eat this thing all at once. And then the
I
last
think
one,
Guy Fieri tried it, didn't get it.
this is
so.
huge news for certain people. The banana cream pie.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
The only cookie in my year of working at Crave that I've had people walk in the front door, ask if it's on the menu, and then turn around on their heel and leave because we don't have it. These are people that do not shop at our store except for one cookie, the banana cream pie.
You want to make money, you need to this needs to be blasted out everywhere. Like, people will be coming in droves. This is the one everyone loves.
This is
Not
the
me.
one.
I
I don't
hate
know. It's
bananas.
not it's not me either, but the people that want this, they would back over their own mother on their way to get there, and they wouldn't even stop. Head straight there. We'll get you a cookie on the way back, Mom. Not
What
banana
other
cream
ones?
pie. Those are for me. All right, go to Crave Cookies and run over your mom. Get your cookie on. Warner Brothers Games is shutting down Monolith Productions Player First Games and WB San Diego. And they're also canceling the Wonder Woman game.
The best way to make money is to
burn money.
Yeah.
You just put it in a big pile, and
I don't
then I don't know, you melt it.
And maybe they all want to be like Joker in The Dark Knight. You know how he like
Yeah.
starts burning all the cash,
It's
like
so
mounting
cool.
the cash.
Uh-huh. Everyone
like,
just wants
"That
to do
was
the
dope.
slide. They
That
just like the
was dope."
slide part. They're like, we just build yourself a slide, guys.
Yeah.
Statement for Warner Brothers reads, we have had to make some very difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises, Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones.
What?
I get bad vibes from how much they mention these four things.
Like, I get it, Harry Potter. Like, you nailed it with Harry Potter. I think the rest of them have not been super successful. I mean, Mortal Kombat is always like, it's always going to have its audience, but they're not like pumping out Mortal Kombat games.
You know that meme video of Hitler from the movie Downfall?
Yeah.
Where he's insisting that all these other generals are going to come through and they're going to make breakthroughs in the Allied lines. And he's like, no, this guy's Kleiner. Kleiner's got this. This is their Kleiner. They just like they're like, no, it's fine. No,
Game of Thrones is going to come through.
We're going to push them back across the Rhine, because the Game of Thrones game is going to come out. It's like, guys, there is no Game of Thrones game. No one's working on one right now. You fired anyone that could have made it.
Every video game that they've come out with that has Game of Thrones attached to it is not good.
Trash.
Like,
garbage.
I think there's one that they just came out with that just, what was it? There's one that just came out, or it's like in beta, or it's like early access or something, and the reviews are not good. People are saying this game is straight garbage.
The best Game of Thrones game ever made is the Game of Thrones mod for Age of Empires 2.
Probably a mod someone else made.
Yeah, you just play through like Westeros on Age of Empires 2. It's beautiful. Everything else is
legit what I was gonna say. People have made Game of Thrones mods that have been decent, but guess what? That's not these guys. WB Games is not making mods.
This is a funny addition at the end of their statement. This is a strategic change in direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that consists within them. So kind of nice bone they're throwing the development team, but I also think it's funny to categorize this as a strategic change in direction. I'm sorry. What was the strategy before? What's the strategy now? Because quite frankly, the same shit you were saying about Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter, DC, and Game of Thrones, we were reporting on you saying a year ago. So you're not really changing direction as much as just like canning everyone and staying in the same direction. And you're like, why is the ship going so slow? We slaughtered all those oarmen and threw them off. Should we not be lighter?
The change in direction is that they are going to continue barreling forward with these 4 franchises
But
and none of the
barreling,
other ones.
how are they
None of the other
barreling? They're
ones.
like not doing anything. You lay off all your
Oh, they're probably
studios.
spending money somewhere on them.
So
They're
Wonder
probably
Woman got the axe.
which
Multiverses got the
honestly is a
axe.
shame. We've talked about this, but Wonder
It sounded
Woman
like it was
is a
DOA
shame.
though. It sounded like
Yeah.
they had a refresh or something. They'd restarted development on it after a couple years, which is never really a great sign. And also the studio that was making it, the people that were responsible for it, it sounds like all the leadership team that started working on it, by the time they shut it down, none of them remained. Everyone was gone.
And the Nemesis system.
Yeah. So, well, I did want to talk a little before we get into that about how the leadership. Remember when we talked about these guys and we're like, what the fuck are they? We've got the Warner Brothers Discovery head of global streaming and games, JB Perrette.
Okay.
And then we also had the Warner Brothers Games head, David Haddad. Well, they cleared this all up for us, so we don't have to worry anymore. Turns out that the Warner Brothers Discovery head of global streaming and games is higher than Warner Brothers Games head, because David Haddad is leaving. He is out skis. He's probably off to another company where he's going to do a similarly shitty job and get paid like hundreds of millions of dollars to do it.
Equally as bad.
Meanwhile, JB Perrette is out there flapping his gums. He's got some great things to say. He says that Warner Brothers Discovery needs to, quote, regain our credibility and swagger at producing great games. Yes, that's what everyone was saying. WB
Regain your
Games
swagger.
had not enough swagger. When we watched Multiverses, when we played all of your shitty games like Suicide Squad, we were like, you know what this is missing? You know what that secret sauce is? That just the last seasoning that would just make this the perfect dish? Swagger.
That, you know what? That's such like a buzzword, because
It's
what
so
it,
stupid.
in this case, in this instance, what does that even mean for a
No.
game studio? What does swagger even mean? It means nothing.
No,
Because
this
like
guy,
in my head, swagger
Yeah.
means something, and it doesn't relate to anything they've ever done.
no, it's I don't know what he's on about. He also says that he was also blaming current financial difficulties on the product market fit and quality of too many of our new releases has really missed the mark. Product market fit? You made games that people hated. I guess technically that is a bad product market fit.
He's
The
not
product
wrong.
being, the product market being people who want good video games, and the product being good video games. Terrible fit. You know, it's been really weird. The people that want shitty video games, a really small market.
Where
Not-
are they? Where are
big
the
enough.
people that don't want to have fun playing
There are
games?
the 1,700 people still playing Suicide Squad. That's the market. They're like, this just doesn't align well with us, because they just want
we
shitty
thought it was
games.
going to be bigger.
There's not that many
We
of them.
thought it
They're
was-
weird. I don't fucking understand that. And then they're also WB Games Montreal is pitching a possible Game of Thrones game, and Rocksteady is pivoting back to a new Batman. Maybe, dude, maybe I am an idiot. Maybe I am naive, because if you don't have shit, you don't have Wonder Woman, you don't have Multiverses, Suicide Squad was a big flop. You're in the hole for $500 million so far this year, minimum. And you're like, okay, well, what do we got? They're like, oh, we could do a Game of Thrones game. We could do this game. They're like, okay, cool. What's the timeline for that? They're like, we don't even have it started. The timeline is we are at the pitch meeting.
We're just
phase.
spitballing right now.
We are literally spitballing. And they're like, okay, so this studio won't make money for 5 years.
At best. I was
yeah.
thinking 8 years.
So yeah, from a business perspective, I think you gotta make some fucking cuts, because you're going to be driving yourself into a hole. However, knowing how the video game industry works, if this were me, if I had the cash to burn, which they clearly don't for whatever reason, I would have everybody working on a new game. I'd have all of these studios starting on new games.
I would
I
be
don't know.
doing
That's fucking
I'd
crazy
be
to
doing
me.
like, who was it we were talking about last week or the week before? They need to pump out an indie style game with one of these properties. Like,
Yeah, that's a
w
great point. Is you could get a small indie team. That's what you ought to do. And we talk about this all the time, is that you can outsource this by financing and licensing just little bitty. Imagine having a cool new pilot program where you do micro licensing of your games to smaller, like how Stephen King allows anyone to make his films for a single dollar, independent filmmakers. Anyone can make his books into movies for just sending him $1. So
yeah,
you and
exa
I get, $1 million together.
they would never, but that's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Like, they
That
should be
would be
doing that while
fan-fucking-tastic.
while they work on a big game, right?
Mhm.
My big concern here is that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is going to come out, and they're bleeding cash right now at the moment. They can't live off of Hogwarts Legacy money that they made several years ago when that game
They
was
already spent
released.
it. They spent it all on
It's
Suicide
gone.
Squad. It's
And
gone.
so I'm worried that they are going to be the team is going to be pushed to get this game out, get it out. We need it out like year and a half. We're talking like
Mhm.
get it out there. And it's not going to be even close to the same level of fidelity that we had in Hogwarts Legacy. It's not going to be as like uh wondersome, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
it's gonna feel empty and it's gonna feel soulless. I'm worried that's gonna happen. I'm predicting that it will because these guys, again, they're just hemorrhaging cash at this point. They don't know how to make it up. They just think we need another $1 billion game instead of like we need to start pumping stuff out and
We need to
making
make good video
profits.
games,
They're
and
not
then,
thinking we need to make profits. They're thinking we need to make billions.
yeah.
And so, yeah.
And as you mentioned, the Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system that we've groused about looks like it'll be locked away by their patent, which doesn't expire till 2036. However, I did see some discussion. I was reading deeper into this and saw some legal weighing in that patent's never really been challenged before. And a patent's really only as good as like it can hold up in
It's able
court.
to hold up.
And I don't think that they really have an argument. Here was the quote from the quote from the patent is Nemesis characters, Nemesis forts, social vendettas, and followers in computer games.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it feels like it's fairly limited in scope. And
It feels like it's very specific to Shadow of Mordor.
here's how
Like,
you do it, and this is how you get around it, is if you want to develop a game with this, you make sure your developers just haven't played this game or aren't super familiar with the Nemesis system. And I don't know. I think if people wanted to use this, I think if any studio wanted to actually make a game with this system, we would have seen some bastardization, even in the, because we haven't seen. It's not like we've
I
seen
don't know. I think
lawsuits.
people are just scared to touch it
I think
because
people are just blowing it out of proportion how important and cool it was. I think it was
I mean,
cool
I
in this
loved it.
game,
Well, that's what I mean. I
but
just
we would
want to
have seen
see.
it in an indie game or some sort of other iteration of games.
Is it hard to do? Like,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I don't know. Like,
Because you
is
would
it
imagine you could see it in a game like Streets of Rogue, where you do it with roguelike games, you think you'd keep coming back to the same guys that remember you, but we don't see that shit. And I don't think it's because
any open
people are
world
scared
game?
of Nemesis. I think it's just something people don't do.
Put it
I don't
in
know.
the next Harry Potter game.
Oh my
Just have
god.
a nemesis, like enemies out in the world.
That'd be sick.
I don't
That'd be
know.
sick. You make your own Voldemort out there.
Dude, he's just like people would be having so much fun with that, just
Oh
like
yeah.
making one guy just godlike, just losing to him
Mhm.
on purpose over and
Just
over.
make him super good and turn him into a Voldemort.
His name's gonna be like Gerald or something.
Oh yeah. It's randomly generated. Valve's policies regarding the Steam store forced COD Blop 6 to admit it used AI-generated assets in the game.
Well, it's happening. I mean, we
It,
know it's been happening, but
but
these guys.
it's probably been happening much more than we realize, because the thing is if you found AI in certain things, you probably only caught 10% of it.
You're only
90% of
finding
it
some of it.
probably, yeah, you're not seeing it all. A lot of it's probably slipped right past you. This was various loading screens and calling cards from the game that were very clearly AI generated.
Two instances of 6-fingered hands.
Yeah, loading screens with extra
So
digits.
stupid.
A zombie Santa holding up a hand that had 6 fingers.
Here's why this bothers me so much. I get it, like, hey, if you're gonna use AI in a video game, use it for a static image, like whatever. However, if you are a giant studio, like the
Yeah.
things they're using them for are like you could have some dude develop or just make that image for so cheap.
You could
For
pay a
so
human
cheap.
being. Yep.
You could pay a human being $1,000 to like, hey, we just need like one vampire type of image. And they're like, done. Give me $1,000. Yeah, no problem. I'll do that. Like,
People would do, for
it
that
would be
amount of money,
nothing.
artists would do dozens of things like that for like a guaranteed commission and a chance for your art to appear in a game. And instead, we're getting a 6-figured Santa. But I will note my favorite my takeaway from this story was that they had to disclose this. The only reason that it was confirmed is because Valve, as we've reported earlier, requires developers to disclose when they are using AI generated content in their game. And so on the Steam page or the store page for COD Blops 6, it says, quote, our team uses generative AI tools to help develop some in-game assets. So if it's not for Steam forcing them to admit this, we would have never had any confirmation, because every time that people are like, look, 6-fingered zombie Santa, they just duck it. They never acknowledge it.
Yeah,
they just ignore it or whatever. So now we actually have like confirmed acknowledgement. So basically, Steam is the only company, the only entity, private, professional, or governmental entity that is protecting us from AI. Steam. The Steam store.
Why
They're
does
the only ones?
Steam feels like Steam continues to be the good guys, and they are a store. They are a video game store.
Literal store.
I don't like, they just do stuff and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, they do stuff that's not scummy, and you're like, you're the best. You're the best. We love you for this. And it's like just basic behavior.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Riblets. Little meat chunks of news. Dude, we didn't even get real ribs. This is the Applebee's meal that you hand to the homeless guy outside the Chili's when you leave. There are 2 ribs and 3 riblets in the thing, and you're like,
it wasn't even sauce this time. They were dry. No. They were dry bone riblets.
And he's like, I'm hungry, so I'll take it. I'm not gonna complain, but
whatever. My dog can eat these, I guess.
Yeah. My dog will chew on these riblets. So first up here is that the PEGI complaint board has amended the classification for Balatro from PEGI 18 to PEGI 12.
Finally, this was the stupidest. Like, honestly,
PEGI 12. I'm sorry. The appearance of cards at all make a game.
How dare you?
You have to be 12 years old to play it.
Might as well give them cigarettes at that point. Like,
exactly. Send them off to war with a beer. The complaint board concluded that although the game explains the various hands of poker, the roguelike deck building card game contained mitigating fantastical elements that warranted a PEGI 12 rating. So it sounds like they still don't fucking get it, right? That was my takeaway. It's like, so you guys still don't like fucking understand what the game is.
It's like playing solitaire. That's what the guy said. He said, I wanted to make a game that kind of brought me back to my solitaire roots. Like, that's what it's like. That's what he compared it to.
Dude, this is like the most puritanical shit.
This is
honestly, like pilgrim stuff.
This
that we're looking at is like you burn someone at the stake. Yeah. The 1660s. Like if you find playing cards, you have to kill that person.
You're gambling, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, you're addicted to hang them up, or tie them to a stake and burn them because they have the devil's influence, and that's so fucking crazy. Monster Hunter Wilds has locked character editing behind microtransactions. Guys, it's here.
It's
everywhere. Microtransactions are now taking over basic
character
game functions.
Is pretty rough.
Yeah, so you boot up Monster Hunter Wilds and you build a character, and that's it. Now, to be fair, from what I understand, the character creator does have somewhat of an impact on your character's build. So resetting it's like kind of redoing your whole entire build. But I guess I don't understand why that's a problem. Like why you can't just let people like redo their build or play the game differently. Is this a multiplayer game?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
because they just listen, we know that these game companies hate their audience.
Oh, they hate you
Monster
guys.
Hunter is a very successful franchise. So they released the new game, which people are looking forward to, and they think, what can we do to make people angry about this game? Oh, yeah, just add microtransactions to the character creator.
Then add microtransactions for everything. We're going to start here and kind of work backwards. So without you get, this is funny because it almost seems like a joke. You buy yourself a character edit voucher. A 3 voucher pack is now available for $6. It's honestly, the fact that it's so cheap tells me it's not something you're doing to limit people from doing this. It really is just money grubbing.
Just trying to get money.
That is fucking so insane.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's like charging for ketchup at McDonald's.
That's
How many
exactly
extra ketchup packets? That'll be $2.
It cost them like honestly like nothing because this already exists
and it's been free
in every other game, like
for
ever.
every game forever. And you're gonna start charging for ketchup packets.
You want to change your
Crazy.
characters? You want to see the next character's eye color? Watch this ad. That's where we're going next.
Pal Worlds developer Pocket Pair has given all their employees a special holiday that just so happened to coincide with the release of Monster Hunter Wilds. They announced that on February 28th, there will be a special non-working day at its offices. And according to the announcement, the company has been receiving a series of, quote, mysterious notices from its employees who claim that they will, quote, probably be feeling unwell tomorrow and thus be unable to clock in. Dude, this is how much of a studio they're like, we've talked about Pocket Pair isn't like a game studio. They're just a group of people in an office building that happen to be making a video game. They don't know what they're doing.
Some of them were never hired. They just walked in.
They just were there.
Sat down at a computer.
Some of them were literally hired from tweets. Like they don't do anything that game studios are supposed to do. And when all their employees are like, dude, I can't wait to play this new game. I'm actually going to take the day off. They're like, everyone take the day off. I don't fucking care. Like, what?
You're going to, you don't have to take the day off
because you get it off for free. What is Pocket Pair doing? Guys, go buy Pal World. You got to support these goofs. We need more of this. Whatever this is, we need it.
This is my company just gave us a floating holiday this year. Like, hey, you can just use it for whatever you want.
Maybe just they can figure out how to make the planes float better.
Okay, float better. We can't even get them there.
We can't even get them off the ground.
The landing gear keeps falling off. As they start driving, blow up. That's all right.
Yeah, they keep rerouting them over bodies of water.
They already bought it. You already bought it. You can't have your money. You can't take your money back. No takey backies.
Take your shitty planes and get out of here. Kudos positivity segment.
Whoop, whoop.
Woot woot. I have a Fudos. Peterson has 2 Shotos. What do you want to do first?
I'll do one of mine. You do yours. We'll do a sandwich. A food sandwich. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the first one, mine are actually kind of similar-ish. Competition shows. The first one that we watched, my kids were watching it and sucked me into it, was Beast Games. If you've never heard of this, it's Mr. Beast. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people have a problem with Mr. Beast. Like, it's really weird. But he does make good content that's like fun to watch. So Beast Games is this show that's on Prime. I can't remember where it was. Prime. And it starts with 1,000 contestants. I mean, this show must have cost dozens of millions of dollars. I know they gave at least $20 million worth of prizes out, worth of like everything. So It started with 1,000 contestants. They're competing for $5 million prize, which is the biggest prize that anyone's ever given out in a game show. And they start off, and it's like they took a little bit from Squid Games, you know what I mean? Like they kind of lean into that a little tiny bit, because they just start eliminating people right away. But they put them in a city, like they've built this little city that they live in during the whole thing, the whole time they're there, and it is mostly psychological games. And that's what makes it super fun. It's like crazy. He's like, okay, their first thing, they're all lined up on these pillars and they're all in these 1,000 people in this room. They say, okay, we're gonna eliminate, and there are 10 rows, so there's 100 people per row, right? And they're like, we're gonna eliminate 4 of these rows. And the way they're eliminated is we're offering a cash prize, $10,000, what they started with. If someone in your row takes the 10,000, the whole row is eliminated, and that person gets the money, the whole row is eliminated. They're doing stuff like that. People are screwing each other over.
Yeah.
At the end, they're like so tight friends, and they're like taking everything personally, like crying constantly. But there's like multiple games where like those types of things where they're like, hey, you can take this $1 million prize. $1 million prize. If you take it, then your whole team's eliminated, but you stay. And then people won't take it. They're like, nope. For $1 million. There are like game shows that people compete at hard for $1 million.
Yeah.
Like Survivor, right? And he's just like, just push this button, you get $1 million, and you get to send 12 people that you just met home. Like, and they don't do it. It's crazy. It's really fun. My biggest complaint about the show is they make everything a spectacle, like a TV show spectacle, because he's a YouTuber. So he's used to making shorter form content. I mean, some of his videos are like 30 minutes still, but they're like, okay, what are they going to decide? And they do a build up to everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please stop building up. But they do lots of build ups. However, I will say the show did blow my mind multiple times. The ending was freaking awesome. I really, really enjoyed Beast Games. Like the more I watched it, the more I was getting into it. So if you haven't watched it, if you don't like Mr. Beast, just get over that. It's a good competition show.
Can't dig that. I got a Foodos for sourdough.
Uh-oh. JD is a early 40s mom now. So
here it is. It's time to put up my Live, Laugh, Love vinyl on my beige wall.
It's actually Jenna is right there. JD's just along for the ride.
Yeah,
he's gonna have that sourdough belly any minute now.
Fuck yeah. I don't know. I'm familiar with sourdough. It's not like I've never had it before, but I have never, I don't think in my life, bought a loaf of sliced sourdough with the intention to use it like you would just white bread. Sandwiches, toast, whatever.
It makes the best toast. I love it as toast.
Holy fuck, dude. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me, but I don't think I can go back to white bread, because for so long, Jenna and I have tried, because we got a pretty decent pantry and we cook a lot. Mm-hmm. And every time I'm like, well, we should always have bread on hand for a number of reasons, but having just a loaf of bread, dude, I'm telling you, we never, no matter what, no matter even if we make sandwiches that week, do we get through a whole loaf of white bread. It just doesn't happen. We don't get to the bottom of it. But I bought a sourdough because we had sandwich week. We did a sandwich week recently, and it changed my life. I told Jenna, I was like, I just want to start making a few sandwiches with sourdough and just see what it's like. I don't think I can go back to white bread. If I'm making a turkey sandwich, if I'm making a breakfast, I made a breakfast sandwich on sourdough that was just absolutely incredible with some pork barbacoa or beef barbacoa.
Ooh, nice.
And scrambled eggs and some shredded cheese. And it was just amazing. And tonight I made a banh mi inspired pork sandwich with a carrot daikon slaw and then this like marinated pork shoulder.
Yeah.
That I seared and then I sliced and then I cooked again with like this dope, like sweet soy sauce, regular soy sauce, oyster sauce. And then I put that on sourdough, and the sourdough was just like, what's up? welcome. I
We're
got you
here for it.
flavor. Yeah, we're here. We will host this strange banh mi you've made, dude. I don't know what I've been missing out on. You guys see sourdough when you go to a sandwich shop, and sometimes you get a sandwich on sourdough. You're like, yeah, great, yum. I don't know. I just started buying it. It's so fucking good. I use it for everything now. I'm obsessed with it.
Here's what I'll say.
Abby gets it.
I love sourdough, but I have a caveat to it. I do not enjoy cold sourdough bread. I am obsessed with it
toasted.
warm. And here's where I fell in love with it. I worked at Great Harvest Bakery when I was like 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
No, I was like 16. I was 16. And I was started early in the morning of kneading the dough and stuff like that. Well, we'd bake the bread and then put it out because when you go into Great Harvest, they're like, dude, do you want a slice of bread, with butter on it?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I do.
100% of the time, I would take the first slice of sourdough, put butter on. I'd slice it piping hot right out of the oven, put butter on it. I will, for the rest of my life, argue that straight out of the oven sourdough bread is the best bread. Just take a slice, put butter on it. That's it. Genuinely, so good every single time. It was, and it tastes different. Then you let it cool down, then it kind of has a little bit more of that sour flavor. When it is fresh out of the oven, it is like perfect. I don't know what it is. I am obsessed with it. Yeah, I'm glad you're getting into it.
Gotta start
Hot
making
sourdough. Well, when I go to the farmer's market, there's a lady here by us that does like cool sourdough loaves, like cheese and whatever.
Yeah, we got rosemary recently. It was dope.
Yep. I buy a loaf, I slice it and just make toast out of it, and I will eat a whole loaf with toast.
Yeah,
of sourdough. So
yeah, dude, it is so fucking good. So sourdough.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with it. Finally,
there's a reason why it's popular.
Yeah, I came around on it. What else you got?
My last one, it's another competition show, very different. This one is for only $500,000 and significantly harder than Beast Games. It's called Race to Survive. I think they've done 2 seasons. They're on their 3rd. I watched Race to Survive New Zealand, and I was intrigued because I was like, hey, I've been to New Zealand. I want to see some of that, like what they do. And it's awesome. The show is crazy. First off, they drop these people in New Zealand. They're in teams of 2, and they have their backpack, like their camping backpack, and that's what they have. They have that, and there's like rules to what they can and can't bring, but they've got their backpack, and they are like, okay, you got to survive. It is 40 days long, and they start off like there's 4 different races, and the races are like 20 plus miles, and they're like, you're gonna be hiking, you're gonna be bushwhacking, and then you got to hop in a kayak, and you got to kayak down rapids, and then you have to climb up this climbing wall, and then you have to go spelunking in this cave. And they're not like telling them where to go. They give them a map, like a topographical map with their locations they have to go, and they're like, all right, get there. And the first few races, they're not like timed. They've got a 12-hour timer. So when the timer goes off, you just hear a horn go off in the distance, and they have to stop and camp wherever they are. They just have to camp. So sometimes they're in horrible spots. They just have to set up camp for the night. They don't give them food. You can like do a detour and go get like a cache of food that has like maybe a couple thousand calories. These people are like starving. But they're just like, okay, you got to catch stuff. So these people are, and you can win like fishing gear, first people back, there's like 4 prizes they can pick from. So they're picking food or they're picking the fishing gear, but they're spending, once they get to their location, they have 5 days to just live there. They live there for the next 5 days, and then until they do the next race, and they don't give them food. They just like have to survive. So like some of the people, like, bugs. I haven't eaten for 2 days. I've eaten almost nothing for 2 days straight now. I'm like starving, and they like going and catching eels because there's huge eels in New Zealand. It's crazy, and it was like the wildest show. Honestly, really great. It's a great show to just like have on. You don't have to like, it's not like Survivor where you're like have to intently watch it, because they're spending a lot of time hiking and bushwhacking and just like all this crazy stuff. And you see all the teams do it multiple times. Honestly, it's really good. It's crazy. Several teams just get eliminated because like they get injured. They're hurt. They just got to go because they're like just bushwhacking it, climbing down these mountains, and they got to go home. So this is Race to Survive. I watched New Zealand. Abby said she's watching Alaska, which that one was much different because Alaska, there's like freaking bears everywhere and stuff.
Mhm.
New Zealand, their biggest complaint is that like there's no wildlife.
Yeah.
There's nothing to kill and eat. And there's one bird that they was in their camp all the time. It's like the size of a chicken that they weren't allowed to kill. It was a protected bird. It was just like harassing them all the time. And they're starving. And they're like,
and
I
it's
wanna
like
eat it.
delicious. It's like covering itself in barbecue sauce.
That's what they kept saying. It looks delicious.
I bet that thing's so
Anyway,
good.
Race to Survive. If you need like
Where'd you watch it?
Paramount Plus, maybe. If you need like if you like those competition shows, check this one out. It is good because it is so rough. Like these people are legit roughing it for 40 days. It's crazy.
Dear Game Devs, it's been nearly a fortnight since I last wrote. Mother is well and much has changed back on the farm, but I have just one request of you.
Do we have another clip? Another Dear Game Devs clip? Or is that the only one?
Let me check.
I don't know if you made one.
I thought we had, but I didn't.
Oh, we had a different one. I mean, I like the old one. It feels very old school.
I'm not seeing.
That's it. I just don't think we do it that much. I don't think we've done it in a minute. Dear Game Devs is our letter of desire that we write to game developers. Abby says we have another one, dude.
I will look. I'm not seeing it, Abby. Okay, but she is
like
our archivist.
Yeah, seems like she would know. Anyway, Dear Game Devs is what we do, and we want to tell game developers what to do, which is a lot of what we do on this here podcast. This week's Dear Game Devs is we want to tell game developers give us a ripoff of this. Oh, anti Dear Game Devs.
We have a Don't Game Devs.
Don't Game Devs. Do you have that one?
Yeah, but that's not what we're doing. We're not. That's not what we're doing right
Dear
now.
Game
I
Devs.
do have something. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna add it to this.
Okay.
And we're gonna see what this is. It says Dear Game Devs Mix Up. Oh, I think this was. Hold on. I think we had mixed two segments.
Dear Game Devs. Dear Game Devs. Dear Game Devs.
What? Did we do that segment?
We mashed up two segments together. The good, bad, and the ugly.
I don't remember that.
I don't know what we did to save my life, but that's the only other file I have for this.
What? I love that. That clip is dope. Actually, we should just use that.
This is Don't Game Devs, by the way. Don't Game Devs. I hope my last letter reached you in good health. I have seen your latest work, and I feel I must interject with some urgency and implore you to stop. Just stop. And for the love of all that is holy, please do not do any of the following.
Dude, this is good. We got to do this more often. We got to do this
Just
more
go
often.
through some of our old files and be like, That's this?
What we're going to do. We're going to do whatever's on the old file. Dear Game Devs, bad and ugly is fucking hilarious, though. So we wanted to talk this week wanted to ask game developers, demand game developers give us a ripoff of these old games that we loved.
Tell them why.
Because I found a game on the Steam Next Fest demos that you guys, it's literally FTL. It's literally FTL.
Like, and you're okay with it,
reskin.
Right?
I loved it. I wish listed it. I will be buying it when it comes out on full release. It is basically FTL meets Warhammer. It's like FTL. Oh, it's like a Warhammer skin for FTL. It's like much more grimdark and bloody and that's the noise I would use to describe it. So I played it and was like a lot of the buttons were the same. A lot of the design is the exact same.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And I was like, dude, this is what I wanted. I didn't realize, but I wanted the exact same game because I've played, you and I both have played it. We talked about it on the show. Games that are like FTL inspired. and they
Yeah,
look a
and
lot like
we're
it.
not
and
talking about inspirations. We're talking about
we're
like
talking a rip-off. Like every Survivors game that came out in the immediate aftermath of Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
There were no inspired by, there were no like clever takes on it. They were just straight motherfucking rip-offs. And some of them were good, honestly.
And then they started doing like their take on it. And that's not what we're talking about. We're
No.
talking like Pal World, right? This is just like, I don't know,
Rip
they're
it
just like,
off.
this is just ripping off this game. That's
So
what
an
that's what we're talking about.
example of nailing it on this, other than FTL, another one that might also work is a game I reviewed on this podcast like a year or two ago, Coromon. Coromon is literally Pokemon Red and Blue. The very first Pokemon on the Game Boy that's exactly what it feels like. It's not like, oh, it's a modern take on Pokemon Red and Blue. No. You could have played Coromon on your fucking Game Boy Color.
The modern take is that it was made like
It was on
a couple years
Steam.
ago.
That's the only
Yeah.
modern part about it. And they nailed that. And I played that game straight through and was like, holy fuck, this is exactly what I want. So I didn't realize that is kind of a thing, a kind of a desire I have sometimes, is that I don't want to play an inspiration. I want to play the ripoff because it's that good. I just want it with like new takes.
And that was
So-
like the Outer Worlds, or which one was it? That
Oh
was,
yeah,
like-
felt very much like Fallout, but
and you're like,
in
oh
space.
yeah, that's what we want. That's what we wanted. I didn't like
15 hours of Fallout.
I'm okay
I
with
was
that.
good.
Like I didn't know that's what I wanted, but yeah, that is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. So what do you got?
Okay. Look, I've mentioned this throughout the duration of the podcast. I have yet to find anything that has scratched the same itch ever as Mario Tennis on the 64. I mention it every time.
You love Mario Tennis
Listen,
on the 64.
They brought out Mario Tennis for the Switch. I bought it, played it, not great. Okay?
Did not.
I
hit the
went
same.
over to my buddy's house a month or so ago. We played Mario Tennis it was on the Switch, but it was the N64 port of it. We played it the whole time. Like we were just having a great time. That's all we want. And I'm like, guys, that is not that hard. Like, just do that and just make it not Mario characters. Like, I don't care if I have no attachment to playing as Luigi. Just give me somebody. I don't care who it is. WB Games, here you go. Make a Game of Thrones tennis. Nobody gives a F. Just do that. Like, give us something, and I just make it this
Mario
game
Tennis.
and not Mario. I will
Yeah.
play it, sell it for
Sonic
$6.
Tennis. Done.
Sonic
Stamped it.
Tennis. So easy. Honestly, it's so stupid, but it is the funnest game.
One that I talk about, like Mario Tennis, a lot on this podcast, and I realized that I kind of have it a little bit with Rocket League, is San Francisco Rush 2049. This was for the Sega Dreamcast,
Yeah,
but I
but it's
think
not
it was
quite
also
Rocket
on
League.
N64. It was also in a lot of arcades. You might see just San Francisco Rush on the arcades, but the game, it was a car racing game. It also had a battle mode, but the one that I liked and the one that we don't really see, I don't think it exists, is called Stunt. Because you see like Mario
Yeah.
Kart, like you can do Mario Kart races or you can do Mario Kart battles, but the Stunt mode was totally unique, and I don't feel like I've seen it elsewhere. Basically, it was like a gigantic skate park for cars with mostly just jumps in all sorts of different angles and whatever, and you would just zoom around in your car, and your car had deployable wings. You'd go off these jumps, you'd deploy your wings. They didn't fly. You just use the wings to change your angle to like spin one way or the other, or do backflips or whatever. And you would try to land on your wheels. If you did not land on your wheels, if you ran into a wall going too fast, your car would explode and you'd reset. So you're basically just like hucking your car. It is the strangest mode that I played, probably more than any developer could have ever fathomed that anyone would play this mode with friends. We'd sit there and on the same screen with 4 little windows, 20-minute games, just hucking our cars while we're shooting the shit, trying to land cool stunts. That was it. That was it. And I have never seen a game like this. I've never seen a game that does this. It's essentially Tony Hawk with cars. That's like what it felt like.
There's one that I played. It's been I think it's probably early days of the podcast. I played with my kids and it had something similar to what you're describing. Like they had a stunt mode, but there was like I'm trying to look at what it was, but there was like a purpose to it. It was like, oh, you got to score this many points in this amount of time. But I know exactly what you're saying because there are stunt car games out there, but they don't feel, none of them like kind of hit the way these games of this era hit. Gosh, it's gonna bug me now. I'm
Here,
gonna try to
share my
find this.
screen because I got this one up so you guys can kind of see.
What
If
was
you're
the
watching on
game
YouTube with
called?
us, basically you're just like spinning your car around and trying really hard. And it was janky. I mean, it was really janky. You'd land on, and if you landed on your car's roof for 1 second, you just explode. Then you reset, you get going again, you'd huck another jump, you just try to spin your car a lot and you try to land it. But yeah, I haven't
Maybe
really seen much else of this, and I would just like to see more of it.
Joyride Turbo might have been the game that I'm thinking of. But it had that kind of thing. And actually, when I found it, me and my kids played it quite a bit together. Because it's like a fun game mode that for whatever reason we just don't see. Like it's weird that there's not like, and maybe there is, and I just haven't played for a long time, but like this piece would be perfect for Forza Horizon. Like they already have, you can do crazy stuff. Like they don't care about anything. And it seems like, why don't they have that in all the Forza Horizon games? Just put us in an arena where you're doing tricks off of like freaking half pipes and stuff.
Yeah. We got some good suggestions in the chat, including PS1 era Twisted Metal.
That's I was thinking
Star
that
Fox
one.
and Fable. This is coming in from Abby and Patrick. These are all solid. It's like the game you played was just, it did everything right. And I'm not looking for a take on it. I want that over again. I just want to have that same meal.
Yep.
The
Like
exact same meal.
I played Wreckfest, and that was a demo derby game, and so it had it scratched a little bit of the itches of Twisted Metal, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same.
Twisted Metal was so unique.
Yep. They're making a Wreckfest 2, by the way. They announced it, and I'm stoked for it because honestly, it was a fun game.
The Reckoning.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. This is a silly one, and I know what you're gonna say. Let me see. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, you probably do.
Do you remember Scorched Earth?
No.
Is a tank game.
Oh,
you
yes.
just have tank here, and you just like you do your coordinates,
and you're gonna say
and then shoot.
That I would say it's Worms.
Yes, and it's Worms. It's not Worms.
It's not Worms. Scorched Earth was Angry Birds.
And you're the limited mobility.
That's why it's Angry Birds.
I like Worms. I do. I like the early days of Worms, and I don't like playing Ninja Rope Worms.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you hate the Ninja Rope and the jetpack.
Well, because like you have yourself positioned, and then this person's like, "We'll give 60 seconds and unlimited Ninja Ropes," and they're just like zipping across the map.
And they just poke you.
You can't hide anywhere. Like there's nowhere to hide.
Welcome to my Ninja Punch. Eat it.
And I miss where you just had to like literally. There's wind. You just had to get your trajectory, get your distance, and try to hit them with an actual skill shot.
Playing that in high school computer lab.
Yeah,
that makes me back.
I want that. Just give me Scorched Earth, where I don't even care if it's a Discord game. That feels like it could be a Discord.
Yeah, we gotta be a browser-based game for sure. I bet there's
like
Scorched
put that on
Earth
Discord. I will play that with my buddies. We will play Scorched Earth in the Discord game, like straight up. And if they have made it, I haven't seen it anywhere.
Yeah, you can just play it in browser, dude.
Yeah, I
just sent a link to you on Discord. You can.
We're gonna play. We're playing it tonight.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah,
like
for whatever reason, Worms came in and just kind of took over that genre, and they just like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like it's never been touched again.
They kind of buried these guys.
Yeah,
that's funny.
And no one else's has done that I've ever seen. It's just Worms.
Yeah,
that's it.
Did you ever play like Sim City back in the day. I mean, back in the fucking day. Like
Yeah.
early 90s.
I played
SimCity.
SimCity 2000.
Did you play? See, I was playing SimCity 2000 was like the new, fresher version that I never even got.
Okay.
That's the age of SimCity I played. Did you ever play, however, Sim Ant?
Yes.
Why did I play so
Ant?
much Sim Ant? Why?
I don't know.
I don't know why I played so much of that game, but I did. Which is cool because Will Wright has spoken. He's like, because dude, Sim Ant flopped. It's amazing that you played it because only like 50,000 copies were ever sold. So like, who
Are you
the
serious?
fuck? Yeah, dude, it is rarefied.
I
air.
had one.
People, yeah, same. People that played Sim Ant.
How?
I don't know. It flopped super hard, but Will Wright was like, dude, what the fuck? This is the coolest game. He's like, Answers. He was like just bummed because he just wanted more people to learn about ants because they like studied ants to make the game and like make it accurate.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I played that game stupid amounts of time. And I know that even on the Wikipedia article for SimAnt, it mentions the Empires of the Undergrowth, which is on Steam now. I believe it just came out last year, was like a spiritual successor to SimAnt. And it is, in a way. It's top down. You control your ants, and it's very realistic, though. Look, motherfucker, the requirement is that it is a ripoff, not an inspiration. I want
I don't want
pixelated little
inspired by it.
ants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want this to feel realistic any more than I want an FTL with hyper realistic ships. I like the pixels. I want the pixels.
Honestly, pixels are in too. Like that's I feel like every game I play is pixel game now.
Yeah. So I think a Sim Ant remake, Sim Ant 2, Sim Spider, I don't care. That's what I want.
My next one might exist. I haven't seen it, and it's never hit the zeitgeist as much as this game did. Back to the N64 games, the other game we would spend all of our time playing in the N64 was NFL Blitz.
Oh shit! Yeah. Didn't you play a sports game that reminded you of NFL Blitz semi recently?
Nothing.
Was it a hockey one?
Yeah, I played a hockey game, and it was, I guess, the hockey version of that.
Mm.
But I want NFL Blitz again. So honestly, the only football game I've ever enjoyed even a little bit. Most of them are like too realistic. We're like calling out your plays and like I don't freaking know the names of any plays. I didn't play football.
The bomb.
The
bomb. That's the play.
And so you're like calling your plays and like running things and like the tackling. No, I want to tackle a dude from 10 yards away and I want to pick him up and slam him down onto the ground. I just want it to be so ridiculous. NFL Blitz, I remember being so big. I'd go to like arcades in Vegas and they would have gigantic NFL Blitz machines where people were playing Blitz. So I miss NFL Blitz and I want that again. Just give me that again. So yeah.
Okay. My last one, the only one I have left, is Toy Commander, another game I've definitely mentioned before.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Toy Commander was a game where you play as toys in a house. So you're basically taking the role of like an invisible little kid who's like playing with the toys as you control them in the house. Dude, it is fantastic. It is absolutely for the Dreamcast for 1999. I feel like they did an absolutely stellar job of creating like a car vehicle combat. There were helicopters, there were airplanes, there were cars, there was everything. And it was just a unique environment that I feel like you don't, and especially when it came out the same year as Toy Story, like, dude, that was top of mind. The idea of just playing as toys in video games was such a novel concept. But have we gone back? I guess like Grounded. I think that's what was so appealing about Grounded, was being like that small size and playing in that environment. Imagine Grounded in a house. I want to play a survival game in a house, but before that, I definitely would want to play. And I guess any game is set in a house where you are a small,
where you're tiny and you're playing with toys, like Toy Story.
And it's open, or it doesn't even need to be open world. But yeah, that's kind of what I want. I want something like that. This one doesn't even need to be a ripoff. I just want inspired by on this one. It's not that hard.
I want ripoffs of Total War all the time. People do Inspired by a lot. They do a lot of similar ones with like a twist, and I don't want that. I just want lots of Total War games. I love them. I'm a sucker for them. I've played a bunch of them, and honestly, like most of the iterations are like, oh, it's like the same. It's Total War Caesar, Total War, like it doesn't Rome. They're all the same. And then until you get to Warhammer, which then it's like that's peak. I mention this all the time too. I just want all of that. I don't care if it's Total War. Just give me that genre of game all the time. Don't give me the inspiration. I don't want to do the battle and then control a single hero in these battles. I want to do the full battle where I'm controlling the armies. I want to be able to pause it. I want to be able to maneuver the armies around. And every Total War like that I've seen just doesn't hit the same. And I'm like, just do what they're doing. Just do exactly what they're doing.
Just copy it, dude.
Just
copy
do that.
their homework.
I played one on the Xbox a long time ago, and it was the closest I've seen. I don't even remember what it was called, Vampire something. But anyway, I want Total War. The last one is actually similar to the one you just did, Micro Machines. You remember that racing game?
That was an inspiration for Toy Commander. Yeah, that inspired them.
So great. So great.
Fuck
like, just give us that again. I want to play. And I know they have Hot Wheels racing games. That's not what I'm talking about. Micro Machines was janky, and you were playing as all the same car racing these things. I just want to do that. I just want to do that again. I could be Hot Wheels. I don't care, but I want it to be the same as Micro Machines. I want you all to be racing the same boat and the same big wheel and this, you know what I mean? I want that. I loved that game. But again, you can't release it and charge $60 for it. This is a $8 game, legitimately an $8 game, what I'm describing. It doesn't have to be big, fantastic. Just give me that again. I'll play it for Dice of Destinies.
Fuck yeah. Okay, guys, jump on Discord. Tell us we've already got a bunch of cool ones in our YouTube channel, but we definitely want to hear what games you want a rip off of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to clone. I want to copy.
Dice of Destiny.
Dice of Destiny is this game we play at the end of every episode. We take a 6-sided dice and roll it to see who's rolling the Dice of Destiny itself, a 20-sided die with 20 different game genres assigned to it. Peterson last week rolled 2 weeks ago. Well, I don't know. He rolled a simulation.
Simulation was last game. Last week. Simulation, $50 bucks.
What'd you pick?
Okay, so I did cheat a tiny bit. Like, this has the tag of simulation. Would I describe it as a simulation game purely? That's not one of the main tags, but it's in there, so it counts. And one of my buddies has been joking that we should play this. It's a game on Steam called A Game About Digging a Hole.
Oh, it's literally called that.
It's called A Game About Digging a Hole.
Oh, dear. Okay.
And it is making its rounds online, gotten some good press from streamers and stuff like that. And it's a cheap little $5 game. And it's that's it. It's a game about digging a hole. You go in your backyard, you start digging, and you start to discover stuff, and you find things that make your hole better to dig. This game, here's how viral this game went. It has very positive reviews on Steam, 90% positive.
Mm-hmm.
It released February 7th, so about a month ago. It has almost 9,000 reviews on Steam.
Holy
and
shit.
It is a $5 game. And it's not long. It's like a few hours long.
Dude, I am stoked.
And so when I saw this had the tag of simulation, I was like, done. Steven's been bugging me to play this. Done. I'm just gonna play it. Like, it's on there. It looks like something I would genuinely enjoy doing. And so yeah, I'm gonna go dig a hole. Game about digging a hole.
I'm gonna go dig it. All right. Well, Peterson's gonna go dig a hole next week. He'll have a new hole for us. And also next week is Next Fest.
Oh yeah, we got some
Next
reviews.
Fest Steam Fest next. Coming up next week, Jenna will be on. We played a ton of games. We're still playing some Steam games this week, so demo. To play us out, we have some music from Toy Commander. Guys, you think that game sounded dope? I would recommend you go to YouTube and just check out this whole playlist. The game is called Toy Commander, and the soundtrack is phenomenal.
He made me listen to a couple, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm vibing to this. Like, for this, like, I can sit here and just listen to this."
Just something to put on. It's good. I'm JD, logging off.
And this is Peterson going to AFK.
Thanks to Abby. Thanks to Patrick. Thanks you guys for hopping on.